am working with a lapel mic, so hopefully you guys can hear me. But here in the States, it is Valentine's Day. And for some of you, it might just be a normal day, which is fine. Go for it. Do you? I'm just gonna do a simple recipe today for you guys that might be wanting to do something handmade for your significant other. Most of you have probably already gone to the store in a panic today or yesterday and got some stuff. But my Lily's chocolates that I normally use, which are fantastic and they melt down beautifully, won't be here till 8 p.m. Unfortunately, they got delayed. So, excuse me, there's something going on here. So I went ahead and I went to the store and I got a low sugar option. Ghirardelli has a 60% cacao that's sort of low carb, but if you're going full keto, like for instance, I think for roughly about 2 tablespoons, this is about 7 carbs, which is a lot if you're on a low keto diet. So don't use this if you're using your keto chocolate, that's fine. If you notice it's different, it's totally okay. What I'm gonna do today is I'm going to make an outer candy shell for my chocolate mousse. You can get these silicone things on Amazon, or you can even get the smaller ones too. I also have some smaller little guys here, which I'm going to coat later. But for the purpose of not dragging it on, I thought I would do something larger. But you can also get these little guys to make smaller chocolates, which I'm going to do for my significant other. And these sort of holidays stress him out. He doesn't actually like holidays because he doesn't like the high pressure of having to, I guess, participate in them. So usually it's just me kind of doing it for the both of us because he just doesn't deal with pressure well. So here it is. We're gonna do this. Okay. So you're gonna want to bring about 1 inch of water to a boil. Now, I wish I had my glass bowl for this because it would actually make it easier, but any safe cookware bowl is okay. This is just thicker, so it's going to take a little more time to heat up. But once it's heated up, it's like a stoneware. So you can use these larger bowls. I think I got this from like Bed Bath or something to heat up. But basically, you're going to bring your 1 inch to 1.5 inches. Really try to keep it at 1 inch because as the water rises underneath, you don't want this to get too hot because chocolate is extremely temperamental. So we're going to put the chocolate in the bowl first, and then we're going to melt it down. And you can, I think this is like a 9-ounce bag. No, this is 10 ounces. It's a 9 or 10 ounce bag. Usually put a few ounces in there to melt down, just so I can get a nice thin coating of it inside here, because the star of the show is going to be the chocolate and the peanut butter mousse. I didn't want to do just hard chocolate because that's kind of, to me, it's decor. It's not the star of the show, although I have had some really amazing chocolates before that were just by themselves with a pinch of salt and cayenne. So they're sort of amazing. But you have to, it's a long, in-depth process, and I didn't want to overwhelm you on Valentine's Day. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and melt down this chocolate. Put this on top of the simmering water. I've already got it simmering at a rolling simmer, so that's about 60 to 70% on your stovetop, or 6 or 7. We're going to take these little guys and set them to the side, and for our mousse, we're going to do 4 ounces of cream cheese. I believe, hold on, let me check my notes. Sorry, I'm always so ill-prepared for these. There we go. So we're going to want 1/2 cup of heavy whipping cream. You're going to want 4 ounces of cream cheese, full cream cheese. Don't ever get the fat-free cream cheese because a lot of times those have sugar in them, and you don't really need to. So, get the full cream cheese. You're going to need 1/2 a teaspoon of vanilla extract, and 2 tablespoons of natural peanut butter or low sugar peanut butter. I found Skippy is probably the best tasting that you can just buy from the store. I used to love Jif until I saw how much sugar was in it. And then I had to find something else. And I really hate Justin's, something to do with the palm oil or something they put in it. It's just ugh. And then you're also going to want to use 7 to 10 drops of stevia extract. And I'll show you what that looks like in just a second. Oh, our chocolate is melting nicely. Very, very nicely. Okay. So we're gonna wanna leave this on until there's just a few chunks of chocolate in the bowl. And I also got some sugar-free cake for today, but this is kind of a treat for us because Pillsbury cake mixes, 1/10, so 1 slice is, let's see, 20. So we're looking at about 17 carbs or grams of sugar for 1/10 of a package, which I think is like 2 slices of cake or a slice of cake. And that's really high, so for us, that would definitely be a treat and not something we would have all the time. This Mousse Bomb, much more keto friendly. And then also the little mini chocolates. Now the problem with a lot of keto desserts is you don't want to go to the store and buy sugar-free candy because I promise you, your bowels will be hating you. Don't buy sugar-free chocolate, make keto versions, because the sugar alcohols they use in the store have been known to cause a lot of issues. By the way, don't ever eat sugar-free gummy bears. You'll thank me later. I learned the hard way. Okay, let's see here. It looks like we've got it down exactly where we need to get it. I'm gonna go ahead and pull it off of here. And I'll just show you. Try not to touch the bowl because it's hot right now. But you can see it still has a few chunks in there. Hopefully you guys can see that. But it's still heating a little bit, and that's exactly where you want it because you don't want it to overheat. Overheated chocolate seizes, and it also has a bitter aftertaste. You have to be really careful of. So, okay. I'll also put this up on YouTube later because I know today's going to be a busy day. Most people have work, and also, they're going to come home and have to make things. So, let's go ahead and put off our water over here because we don't need that right now. We're done with that. We're done with you. Thank you, water. You're awesome. And so now I've got my lovely little melted chocolate. We're going to take that and we're going to pour that into our silicone molds. You can do large for the mousse, or if you want to make little bitty chocolates. What I'll be doing is posting a recipe on how to make the little miniatures and the filling inside. Really, keto chocolate is all about learning how to make keto versions. So for instance, a filling on the inside, you want to use sweetened condensed milk, but we have to make our keto version of that, right? Because sweetened condensed milk is ungodly with sugar. So what I love to use is I use coconut milk, the kind you get in the can, the unsweetened coconut. You simmer that for about, low simmer, for about 20 to 25 minutes, kind of depending. And you put vanilla, and if you want like cinnamon or any kind of flavoring, if you want your liqueurs, your cinnamon, peanut butter, any kind of flavor you want in there, you simmer it, and then you put in the liquid stevia and the granulated sugar or sweetener, which I use a Priva, which is almost like Truvia flavor-wise. It's a lot cheaper, and I like the flavor. So we're gonna go ahead and fill these guys out. Go ahead and coat it. Just a second. And you can melt down as much chocolate as you want, depending on how thick or thin you want your layer. Just be sure to work fast after you get it off the stove, because chocolate's going to want to go back to its original state and solidify fairly quickly. So make sure you work quickly to get that towards your shell. And if you want something to be thinner, if you want a nice thin shell, you need to make sure structurally you have no wax in your chocolate. So I know that sounds gross, but believe me when I say chemistry is a thing. And if you want to have stiff chocolate, like for a decor and whatnot, it needs to contain wax. Well, it doesn't sound appetizing, does it? Just pastry things. It's fine. Okay, so we're going to coat this. We're just going to kind of use this, and I use my pastry brush all the time. Some of you might not. Some of you might. If you're like me and you miss desserts often, so it becomes a thing. But we're just going to kind of coat the tops of these for our mousse bombs. Keto mousse bombs. And I really try to be self-conscious of my significant other on Valentine's Day because, I used to get so irritated because this is the time of year that everybody's thinking about bikini season, right? It's shortly after the holidays, and we know we've all eaten ourselves like another 10 to 15 pounds heavier during the holidays. It's seriously like 2 to 3 months of eating nonstop since November. So around this time of year, I think, if I'm with a significant other who diets like I do, and it's kind of a lifestyle for us, we have no self-control with sweets. So what we kind of discovered is that keto is really the way for us, because if we go off track and we eat carbs, we spiral, we gain weight. It's like this miserable time of just, oh my gosh, what did I do? So we're going to coat these nice and light, and some of these are actually a little thick. I might have to use this to get rid of a little bit of the chocolate that I well overused. Grab my spoon here. Way to go, Grayson! Alright. I'm going to grab some beans. Spoon it out, and I'll show you what these shells look like for our lovely keto bombs. And you can decorate it any way you want to. Put way too much chocolate in here. It's fine. You can deal with it. I'm going to put too much chocolate off of it. While we're making our filling. Our lovely. And if you missed earlier, what I was talking about is you can make these large bombs like I'm doing, because I'm going to fill them with some keto bombs. Put a nice fluffy, pillowy, like center keto mousse. bowl for mixing, and you're also going to need a bowl to mix the more solid stuff together, like your cream cheese and whatnot. In a separate bowl, we're going to do cream cheese. In this mixing bowl, we're going to do half a cup of heavy cream. So we're going to do that. You're just going to use a hand mixer unless you're fancy and you have a kitchen. You seriously want one of those at some point. But just get yourself, most people have this. It's a little hand mixer with the normal paddles. And what we're going to do is we're going to mix our heavy cream until we start getting stiff peas. This half a cup is going to be the cup because heavy cream gets fuller as you whisk it. It's a neat little effect. So there we got half the cup. And we're going to whisk that. It takes a while. We're going to whisk this for somewhere between probably 2 to 5 minutes. It just depends on the consistency of the heavy cream. We want to make sure it's stiff because that's really what's going to make the inside of our mousse is that heavy cream and the consistency that you get mixed in with the cream cheese. And the cream cheese is going to go in a separate bowl. Like I said, you're going to need 4 ounces, which if you buy the 8 ounces from the store, is roughly about half a thing of cream cheese, a whole thing of it. Put that in the bowl. Got 4 ounces of that guy. Got a vanilla and you can get any kind of drops you like. I really like these stevia vanilla. We also have stevia vanilla. So we're going to use 2 tablespoons of natural peanut butter or as low sugar peanut butter as you can find. We're going to go ahead in our medium-sized bowl. We're going to heat together our cream cheese, our peanut butter, our vanilla extract, and stevia until they're smooth and creamy. So, yeah, we do need to get out our teaspoon. I'm just 9 pounds of potato. Holidays are always a little stressful here, just because we've always got so much going on. Well, at least I do typically, so it can just get kind of stressful. All right, we've got 2 tablespoons of this guy. Like I said, not everybody can, buy that hand-ground expensive stuff from the store that is completely sugar-free. Just go as low sugar as possible. If you can buy the stuff that you hand grind yourself at the store, or if they have some already pre-made that's just peanuts ground up, that's great. That's really keto-friendly. But the whole reason why I buy peanut butter is it's cheap and easy, and that kind of takes out some of it for me. So, okay, so we got our 2 tablespoons, then we're going to need half a teaspoon of vanilla. Just half a teaspoon of vanilla. And then about 7 to 10 drops of the liquid stevia will be fine. He's going to like his a little extra peanut buttery. I know he'll complain that there's not enough, so I'm going to put just a little more in there. I know him. And put this guy in here. So 7 to 10 drops is usually about, I don't know, not quite half of one of these guys. If you get this 2 fluid ounce one that I've got, I usually put about that much in most of my desserts because the granulated sugar by itself is not sweet enough and it has a bit of a minty aftertaste. So for baking with keto, you really I always say this in all of my shows, but you always need stevia stevia or liquid stevia or something akin to it. It's really going to make your desserts shine. So we're going to let this kind of sit for a minute because the cream cheese needs to soften up. So what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to move over to our heavy cream, and I'm going to mix it until it gets nice and firm. And just to give you guys ears a little bit of a break, I'll probably take a quick break while I'm doing this, but this is the part where you're going to mix it until you get nice firm, stiff peaks for your heavy cream, which I'll show you once I'm finished. But we'll take a quick break just for your ears while I go ahead and mix this, and then we'll come back and finish our Valentine's Day special. There we go. So basically what you want it to look like, and it's going to be a little harder to see in this light, so I'll go ahead and bring it up for you. You want it to be very stiff, like this. The whipped cream consistency is really important. That's why you just kind of eyeball it with a lot of whipped cream, especially heavy whipping cream for this recipe. You're probably going to be hand mixing for somewhere between 3 to 5 minutes, depending on what type of mixer you have. For me, for my hand mixer, sorry about that. I forget I have a lapel mic. I'm so used to just talking to the camera. But for me, my mixer takes on medium and then high for about 5 minutes of constant blending. And you're going to also blend all these ingredients together as well for about 1 to 2 minutes with the hand mixer. Once we add in our 4 ounces of cream cheese and our half a teaspoon of vanilla and 2 tablespoons of peanut butter. So I went ahead and put this over here so it softened just a little bit while I was doing that. But you're going to mix all this together to make it smooth. So you're going to mix your cream cheese, your peanut butter, your vanilla, and your liquid stevia together. And the liquid stevia is going to be somewhere between 7 to 10 drops. And you just want to mix these together until they're smooth, and it's kind of, I guess a layman's way of putting it is it's all like the same color throughout. There's no really big lumps or chunks. So that way, when you hand mix it, it blends together beautifully and all the ingredients bind together well. A lot of people get impatient at this this process, so you'll see a lot of, you'll wonder why your homemade mousses are so clumpy and chunky and you can taste like sugar and stuff in there. It's because a lot of people that first started off on keto, like I did a few years ago, you don't realize that you can't use granulated sugar in a lot of pastries and desserts unless you're using it as a finish. Working on my some of the dishes I grew up with as a child, like I posted one on there, I guess it's been about a week ago now, was the coffee jelly. And that is a legit dessert, like we grew up on that, and it's this jellies that you make that are big cubes, you know, about 1 to 2 inches big, usually about 1 inch. And then you would put sweetened condensed milk and the whipped cream on top of that. And I was like, oh, holy cow, I can't do that now. Like, there's way too sugar overload, unless I'm, you know, running a marathon or something that day, where I can justify having 100 grams of sugar or less in one sitting. And to me, boba tea, which is something I loved, and my sugared plum drinks and everything, I miss those so much because, you know, we were raised on that. And now I'm searching for those sort of recipes along with the American classics like, you know, pies, cakes, cookies. And I'm learning that as I'm starting to learn how to make like donuts, because I really miss donuts. It takes a lot to make those. Like this is pretty like intermediate and moderate level baking and chemistry. And so I'm learning how to make donuts now that actually are like the donuts you see at, say, Dunkin' Donuts or Krispy Kreme or something, where they're like, you know, this big and they're filled and you can put filling in them and they actually taste like a donut. Because I find with most keto donuts, they'll say, oh, it tastes just like, Krispy Kreme or, Dunkin' Donuts or something. And I try it and I'm like, this is nothing like Dunkin' Donuts, lady, you are crazy. I want to actually legitimately have a good donut that's keto. So I'm working on that. And then I'm also working on keto boba. So the little pearls and the jellies that are down at the bottom. Now I've got the jellies mastered. It's just like the coffee jelly recipe I made, only you can add sugar-free fruit flavorings in them. And also you can get those little sugar-free flavorings at the store, or you can use certain berries that are okay on keto, like strawberries. Like pretty much every berry is okay on keto. So blackberry, strawberry, raspberry, all of those sort of things. Okay, I think we've got this blended nicely. I'm not seeing any chunks, and it looks like it's all very smooth in one color. So it's going to look like this for our keto peanut butter mousse. We're going to blend it in with our whipped cream with a hand mixer for about a minute to 2 minutes. Really just got to pay attention to the consistency of it. And I'm going to put it into this larger bowl because this does better with the mixer. These are what I use for mixing or for pho, which is Vietnamese stews and soups. And I'll use it for hand mixing things, but for mixing bowls, they need to be a little deeper. So that is what we're going to do today. Bam! I'm trying to get the last bit of this off without digging my fingers in it, because this is for somebody else, so I'm trying to be considerate of that. Okay. So we're going to take this sweetened peanut butter mousse. We're going to hand mix it for about 1 minute to 2 minutes. Just kind of pay attention to it, and then I will be right back. All right, guys, we are back. Took a short break. We are finishing up our keto desserts for Valentine's Day, just because it's a special day with you and your significant other doesn't mean that you can't make it keto friendly. So we are going to do that. All right, let's check on our little cups here. Oh, they're good, they're good, they're good. Looking great. As you can see, they've cooled, they've chilled. Got that nice, lovely little shell around there. And that's going to make a great little seating area for our chocolate mousse. Actually, this is peanut butter mousse, but whatever. Same difference. It's fine. Now, our mousse, after we mixed it, I tasted a little bit of it, and I think it really needs about another tablespoon of peanut butter for my significant other's liking. He likes it more peanut buttery and rich. So I went ahead and added in another tablespoon because I felt like he would really enjoy that. So now we're just going to take our mousse and we're going to go ahead and pour that into our bombs here. So this is going to be our lovely mousse. And what's great about these is they're not super tough. Anyone can do them. You don't have to buy weird or exotic ingredients from the store or from Amazon, wherever you're going to get your stuff from. And they're keto friendly, so all bonuses. And it's something different to celebrate the day. So why not? If you want to get fancy, you can make some little sugar-free chocolate keto cakes as well. And I also have the easy version of the keto cakes on my website that literally you can cook the ingredients on the stovetop and then put it into the oven at 350 for about 10 minutes. And it makes a cake that's quick and easy, low stress. So, if you want to take those and bake them and then like set them on the bottoms of these. And then you can also put, another little layer of chocolate on the top and cool them, which I'll probably go ahead and do that. You can have these lovely little bonbon mousses. And your significant other will think you're super fancy. When in reality, you're only looking at, half an hour to an hour's worth of work, which isn't bad, because I've been standing here talking to you and doing things, so in all honesty, I probably could be done in about half an hour with just doing it this way. Now, if I want to add, cake and whatnot to mine on the ends, yeah, it'll probably take you about an hour, but what's an hour to see their face light up when they look at that and think, oh my gosh, this probably isn't on my diet. And then you break the news to them that it is on their diet. So how awesome is that? Just like, cheesy as hell, I know. Okay, I think we got most of our peanut butter mousse in here. Chocolate covered peanut butter mousse. Yum. And we're gonna let this sit a few minutes. And I'm probably gonna actually coat the top with some more chocolate. Yum. Done with that for now. So we're going to put these into the refrigerator. I'm going to probably go ahead and melt some chocolate down, just a little more chocolate, because I'm going to put the bottoms on these, so it's like a full bond. So this is going to be your peanut butter chocolate mousse. You can stop here if you want, or if you want to put the top with a nice chocolate layer as well, you can. It's all up to you. We're going to take about let's see what time this is. We're going to take a 5-minute break, and then we come back. When we come back, what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk to you guys about what White Day is, the history behind White Day versus Valentine's Day, and how they differ from here in Japan. So if you want to know a little food-based fun knowledge, come back in about 5 minutes. Otherwise, enjoy the rest of your day. See you guys in a bit. Let's talk about the history of Valentine's Day. If you guys actually haven't looked it up, it's pretty bizarre. NPR did a really neat piece over it. I think it was back in 2011 or 2012. It was talking about the history behind Valentine's Day, what it originated at, which was the Romans, right? So, on the ancient Valentine's Day, it would actually go from February 13th to 15th. And this was a day where couples would go into a couple lottery. And I say couples very loosely because actually they were just kind of random names you drew from the matchmaking lottery, and then you coupled together for the duration. It gets even more bizarre than that. So not only did they just, couple together, okay, whatever, Roman sex, that's nothing new, right? I mean, ancient civilizations, a lot of them were built off of that really traditional behavior. But not only that, women believed that the men hitting them with freshly slain creatures would actually make them fertile. So women would line up for men to hit them with these freshly slayed creatures' skins, and that would make them fertile. Now, I don't know if the guys started this rumor just so they could have some kind of excuse to beat on the ladies and literally hit on them. Maybe that's where the term came from, hitting on someone. Makes you think. But definitely a bizarre thing. Later on, it turned more into a day of love as Hallmark came into the picture and many of the chocolate industries and whatnot. So it kind of changed later into the day it is now, thankfully. But it puts a lot of pressure on people, I think, in general, to actually conform to this idea that you don't love someone unless you show your love and affection on one certain day of the year. So to me, I think it's a little silly. But you'll have to excuse me, my voice is kind of going a little bit. I think I might be suffering a little bit of a cold. What I found fascinating was how other cultures took this idea of love and everything and they used it for something different. So here's where it kind of differentiates between Americans or Western culture and Japanese culture. And I believe this might also be in China too, but don't quote me on that. I'd actually have to look up where White Day is common. Now, Japan celebrates Valentine's Day, and it's a big deal. But instead of a day that is geared towards women here, which most people say, no, it's about you and your significant other sharing the day together, it really is geared a lot toward women. You've got chocolates, flowers, gifts, that sort of thing for today. So in Japan, it's different. They have Valentine's Day is a day that the women make chocolate for their significant other, their son, their daughter, or sorry, not daughter, their son. Sometimes they'll make it for coworkers, but that kind of chocolate is usually duty chocolate or chocolate that you buy out of respect for a coworker or a friend. For a personal chocolate, like you would give it to somebody you like or someone you're in a relationship with, and this would be honme choco, or a handmade chocolate. And those are given to their significant others today. Well, let's get into what White Day is. So White Day happens exactly a month later, in which the men reciprocate that. So all the women that have given them chocolates, and if you're a younger male, it's probably pretty exciting to get handmade chocolates from a bunch of girls. And this is why I love it, because on Valentine's Day, you do this for your significant other, and then a month later, they do it for you. So it's a way that both people show that they care. It's the one downside, I think, to this concept is it puts a lot of pressure, much like Valentine's Day does. So it definitely puts a lot of pressure on the guy to take it. So I have seen some instances on White Day, on Valentine's Day, where the guy politely refuses the chocolate because he doesn't reciprocate and he doesn't want to buy her chocolate on White Day. Now there are, the giri, I think is what they're called. Giri, let me look up that term. I think it's giri something for the quote-unquote fulfilled duty chocolate. And yeah, it's called giri choco. That's right. Okay, so giri choco is the ones that you give out of obligation, obligatory chocolate. And I'm just stirring my melted chocolate down here that I'm going to put on top, and I'm going to also make some little smaller chocolates for us. The giri choco is just something you would give your coworker, your boss, maybe a lady friend in your life and whatnot. But the honme choco is going to be something that's for somebody very special to you, like what I am doing for my sweetie on Valentine's Day. So I find that the White Day that they hold on March 14th, which is exactly a month later, really sweet. Because it should be about both of you enjoying that day, right? I think so. That's just me. I think that both of you should feel special certain times of the year. So let's check on our mousse. See how it's doing. Oh, yeah. It's doing well. It's starting to turn into these large, awesome mousses. And we're going to go ahead and put our chocolate on top. Hopefully this is okay to touch now. Yes. And what it's going to do is it's going to create a closed bonbon. And they just need to go in the refrigerator for a little while. You don't need to put a lot on the top, just enough to coat it as it gets, as it freezes. Freezies. It's definitely liquidy enough. I can just go ahead and pour it on top really easy. I'm trying to make sure I get all of it coated before I put this out. Excuse me. Was really hoping for the Valentine's Day event today with Fortnite PvE, but apparently it wasn't coming out today. We actually thought it was going to be. And I don't think it is. We were looking at patch notes, and I didn't see patch notes for Fortnite. So, well, darn it, we might not be having that today. So we're just going to kind of smooth this. And it's okay if your tray looks messy. They'll come out of their little trays and they'll look gorgeous. Just make sure your bottom's smooth, and they're not really going to see a lot of the bottom anyway, so it's okay. Let's use our lovely little pastry brush here and kind of smooth it out. Yeah, when you see it, when you actually see some of the holidays and where they came from, a lot of them are kind of dark. Like the thought of women actually getting hit with stuff on Valentine's Day back in the Roman era. It's bizarre when you think about it. But if that's all you had back then was magic and religion, it would make sense in a way. It's like, oh, I do this because it's tradition. Like after this happens, we know that we have babies after this. It couldn't be the sex. We just know that we have babies. Yeah, part of me wonders if that's not just some kind of pent-up frustration going on there. Like, I'm just gonna hit this girl and tell her it's for fertility. Weird. All right, we've almost got this all filled. Looking good. Now we can put that in the refrigerator. Now that we've got our lovely bonbons and our peanut butter mousse, excellent. And we're just going to let those freeze. And when he gets home, he has peanut butter chocolate mousse with a lot of love. Loving. Okay, let's put this inside. So I hope that you have enjoyed yourself as much as I have. And you learned a little bit about White Day, which I hope at some point will actually come to the US, because I think it's really neat that guys and girls can have special days that they show each other love and care about one another, but also I think it should be something that's just year-round for both people. So I'm excited for him to come home and find his favorite sweets, and hopefully you will be too, and you have a wonderful, glorious Valentine's Day, or just Happy Wednesday. Either way. Take care. Bye guys, thanks for joining me.